From Fox 56 News, election night analysis from Red, White, and Bluegrass. Here's Bodie Brooks.
Polls have closed across just about half of the state, and as we wait for some of the votes to come in, let's get a little bit of insight and analysis. We have Trey Watson as well as Jared Smith, the Kentucky Politics Weekly podcast. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. First, let's talk about the big statewide issue of the night, Amendment 2. We also have another amendment on the ballot. Let's talk about that one first, the non-citizen voting amendment. I know that, Trey, you were a big advocate for this particular one. How do you think it's going to go tonight?
I think it should pass. We feel pretty good about it passing, but the problem is there's been a lot of confusion late. I think some of that had to do with the way that the amendment was kind of laid out on the ballot, that it doesn't really show. It shows what the Constitution would look like, not necessarily what's changing. So I think some people think that there are clauses in it that are being added that are actually already in the Constitution. It's pretty common sense on its face, just expanding the citizen voting requirement to local races and school board races. We'll see. I think it's got a good shot at passing, though.
Jared, a lot of Democrats thought it was redundant.
Yeah, it's a solution in search of a problem. We don't have non-citizens voting in elections in Kentucky. Michael Adams was very clear on that. We run perfectly great, straight, honest elections. And so it just felt like it was like, why are we going to open up the Constitution and get in there and tinker around? And then I guess everybody found out we have the word idiot in our state constitution, so that caused another uproar. So
the reaction to that one has been interesting, so I'm interested to see how that may affect the ultimate outcome. Now let's talk about the more divisive amendment on the ballot, Amendment 2, that is the big school amendment. What is the gut feeling right now on this, Jared?
I think it goes down. The question is how much. It's pretty much a non-starter in the rural areas. You even see a lot of Republican elected officials being against it in the rural areas. I just don't think it ever got its feet on the ground and going. There's not a natural constituency to be for Yes for Two unless you're a Koch brother, Americans for Prosperity, or just like a diehard Christian school person that wants tax dollars. It's very easy to say your tax dollars shouldn't go to SARE, or your tax dollars shouldn't go to Lexington Catholic. They have plenty of money. They don't need your money. That money needs to go to your local schools. And that is a really tough argument for anybody to come against.
Did Republicans have a tough challenge with the messaging here on Amendment 2?
Absolutely. I'm an Amendment 2 supporter. I don't support vouchers. I think there's a lot of creative things that could be done, such as like an education savings account that could be used for special needs classes, tutoring. Heck, you could expand it. You could use it to cover kids' athletic equipment. Teachers could put money in it to use it towards classroom supplies. It could all be done tax-free. We had a education savings account bill that got struck down by the Supreme Court because we need this clause changed. But I think when you see both sides got out in front talking about vouchers, when the yes and no side are both talking about the same issue, someone has messed up their messaging. And I think that the vouchers, there's 69 counties in the state that don't have any private schools in it. I think relying on vouchers for the messaging is really going to hurt it. The messaging was just so hard on the yes side because there's lots of reasons to be for it. There's one reason to be against it, and that messaging is always going to be easier.
We have a little less than a minute left here. Something that occurred to me a little late, is it possible that voting straight party, the number of voters that are going to be voting that way, could have any effect on the outcome of either of these amendments?
I think so, especially on Amendment 2, because a lot of people are going to forget to flip over their ballot. And so I think out in the rural areas, those people are more likely going to vote no, but if they forget to flip their ballot over, then they don't vote in that issue, and so it's taking a no vote off the table.
Trey?
No, I tend to agree with that. Obviously a straight ticket vote doesn't affect the amendments, but yeah, especially if you're going in, you're a strong Trump supporter, or even in some of the more urban areas where you're just going to go in and go straight ticket Democrat, you may forget to flip it over. I tend to believe the straight ticket Democrat voters are probably more in tune on Amendment 2 and more fired up to vote against it than a rural voter would be.
All right, we'll have more insight from Trey and Jared a little later in the newscast. Marvin, Andrea, back to you.
Thank you, gentlemen.